A plane crash almost never begins with the moment we see on camera. It begins earlier, with a warning sign, a difficult decision, or a small problem that suddenly grows too fast. In the footage you are about to see, every second matters. But this is not just about watching accidents. It is about understanding them, what the pilots were facing, what the aircraft was doing, and how a normal flight can turn into a fight for survival. October 6th, 2022, East Hampton, New York. A Seamax M22 was on a local flight when, about 15 minutes after takeoff, a witness heard a loud crack. Moments later, the right wing separated and the airplane spiraled down into the water. The pilot was fatally injured. The NTSB later found that the wing separated because the bolt and nut setup at the upper wing strut attachment did not match the nut's design intent and limits. The lesson is clear. On light aircraft, small hardware is never just a small detail. Strut attachments, locking nuts, bolts, and service bulletins can be flight critical. January 18th, 2022, Sturtevant, Wisconsin. During takeoff from Sylvania Airport, a Cessna 120 left runway 08 to the left, crossed the grass with the engine still running, and hit an unoccupied parked fuel truck. The pilot survived with serious injuries. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The probable cause was loss of directional control during takeoff, but the exact reason could not be determined. Takeoff directional control must be corrected immediately. November 15th, 2025, Culebrita Beach, Puerto Rico. An Aventura 2 amphibious airplane departed from the beach area, then lost control during the initial climb and hit the water. The pilot reported a strong southeast wind gust coming from behind nearby terrain. The key safety point is simple. Beach departures give very little room for wind shifts, terrain effects, or delayed control correction. Low altitude problems must be corrected immediately because there may be no space left to recover. September 28th, 2016, Ardmore Airport, Auckland, New Zealand. A North American T-28 Trojan warbird was forced into a wheels-up emergency landing after its landing gear failed to deploy. The pilot held the aircraft to burn off fuel, then brought it down on its belly at about 2:34 in the afternoon. The airplane slid to a stop with limited damage, and no injuries were reported. The safety lesson is clear. When the gear will not come down, fuel planning, runway choice, and a stable touchdown matter more than trying to save the airplane. Date not officially confirmed, possible Czech Republic or Slovakia. This video appears to show a runway collision between two ultralight aircraft. The visible airplane is a Czech Skyleader 500, but I could not verify the official location, injury outcome, or investigation findings from a reliable report. What can be said safely is this. Two aircraft ended up in the same runway area, and one aircraft struck the other. The safety lesson is runway discipline. Before entering or crossing any runway, pilots must confirm it is clear, communicate clearly, and never assume the other aircraft has seen them. July 20th, 2021, near Romeo State Airport, Michigan. Shortly after takeoff from runway 36, a Sonex Waiex was climbing through about 75 to 100 feet when the canopy flew open and broke. According to the pilot's account, the open canopy created so much drag that the airplane could not hold altitude, even at full throttle. The crew avoided the tree line and landed in the field. The nose gear folded, but both people survived with only minor cuts and abrasions. The lesson is direct. Canopy latches matter, and at low altitude, landing ahead can be safer than turning back.
Whoa. That didn't work out the way.
April 26th, 2021, Hyannis, Massachusetts. During a training flight in a Cessna 402C, an instructor and a new hire pilot were practicing approaches. After a simulated engine failure, the left engine boost pump was left on high. During a later go-around, that engine lost partial power. The airplane yawed left, the airspeed dropped too low, and the instructor landed hard on the grass beside the runway. Both pilots survived without injuries. The lesson is clear. In training, every switch position still has to match the real airplane, not just the exercise. May 1st, 2024, Westminster, Maryland. During a flight review in a Cessna 172M, the pilot and instructor practiced a simulated engine-out landing at Carroll County Regional Airport. On final approach, the airplane was not going to reach the runway. Surveillance video showed it touch down hard, short of the pavement, bounced, then tried to go around. It climbed briefly, nose high and slow, turned left, then came back down and nosed over. One person had minor injuries. The NTSB said the pilot failed to reach a proper touchdown point, and the instructor's correction came too late. In training, a bad approach must be stopped early. December 11th, 2021, Bermuda Dunes, California. A Vans RV-3 departed for a local flight and climbed only a few hundred feet above the ground. Witness video showed the airplane level at first, then pitching up, banking right, and dropping nose low. Investigators found no mechanical failure that would have stopped normal operation, but the fuel shutoff valve was in an intermediate position, restricting fuel flow. The loss of power led to a low-altitude stall and loss of control. The lesson is simple but critical. Fuel valve position must be confirmed before takeoff, because at low altitude, one restricted fuel path can leave no time to recover. June 8th, 2024, Telford, Tennessee. A Cessna 182 was coming in to land at Kite Field, a small grass runway. The pilot later said the airplane was a little fast and started to float, leaving the nose high. He started a go-around, but the nose pulled left. The pilot corrected right and tried to climb over trees beside the runway. The airplane stayed nose high, turned right, and hit the trees. Both people on board were seriously injured. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The cause was loss of control during the go-around. The lesson is direct. If a landing is not stable, fix it early. A late go-around near trees leaves almost no room for error. July 27th, 2010, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. During the AirVenture fly-in, a Hawker Beechcraft 390 Premier IA was turning toward runway 18 right. The pilot saw a Piper Cub ahead and believed there could be a traffic conflict. He chose to go around. But during that go-around, the engines were not brought up to takeoff power. The jet climbed only briefly, slowed, and the right wing stalled at low altitude. The airplane hit the ground beside the runway. Both people on board survived with serious injuries. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The lesson is direct. Once a go-around begins, power, pitch, and airspeed must come first. Looking for traffic cannot come before flying the airplane. July 19th, 2022, Mount Vernon, Illinois. An air ambulance helicopter was settling onto a concrete pad when rotor wash lifted a cloth cover from a nearby fuel unit. The cover was pulled into the helicopter's tail rotor area just before touchdown. The pilot was still able to land, and no one was injured, but the tail rotor area was badly damaged. Investigators found that the cloth cover had not been properly secured, and it did not have a safety cord. The lesson is simple. Loose objects near a helicopter are never small. Rotor wash can turn them into dangerous debris in seconds. July 10th, 2024, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. A Piper PA-28 was on an instructional flight at North Palm Beach County Airport. After a touch and go, the airplane climbed to about 75 feet, then began a right 180 turn. It did not have enough altitude to complete that turn and went down into a pond beyond the runway. Both pilots were killed. The NTSB said the engine likely lost power during takeoff, but the exact reason could not be determined. The airplane had recent engine work, but investigators did not find a clear mechanical failure. The lesson is direct. After power loss close to the ground, turning back can be more dangerous than landing ahead. August 13th, 2022, Hanna City, Illinois. A Mooney M20K was near the end of a long flight from Santa Fe to Peoria when the pilot told air traffic control the engine had lost all power. He also said the airplane could not reach the airport. Video showed the airplane descending with the landing gear down and the propellers still turning in the airflow. It hit power lines, touched down on a road, then struck roadside objects and a building. The pilot and passenger were killed. The NTSB found the engine lost power because the airplane ran out of fuel. The lesson is basic but unforgiving. Fuel planning must include climb, cruise, reserve, and a real check of what is actually in the tanks. February 2nd, 2023, Port Orange, Florida. A Piper PA-46 was trying to take off when the right wing touched the runway. Instead of stopping the takeoff, the pilot pulled back hard on the controls. The airplane pitched up, stalled, and came back down onto the runway. It then went off the end of the pavement, hit trees, and came to rest on its side. Both people on board were seriously injured. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The lesson is clear. If a wing strikes the runway during takeoff, stop the takeoff. Trying to force the airplane into the air can make the situation worse. April 17th, 2022, Caldwell, New Jersey. A Citation business jet was landing at Essex County Airport with gusty wind. During the flare, it floated and touched down beyond the middle of runway 22. The crew tried to stop, but there was not enough runway left. The jet went off the end of the runway and stopped in a brook. The front of the fuselage was badly damaged, but all three people on board were uninjured. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The cause was not reaching a proper touchdown point. The lesson is direct. If the airplane floats too far down the runway, go around early before the landing becomes a runway overrun. August 29th, 2022, Bennington, Vermont. A Piper PA-28 was coming back to land at Moore State Airport. The wind was not straight down the runway, and the approach quickly became unforgiving. The pilot later said he flared too early, got slow, and tried to go around. But adding power was not enough. The airplane was already too slow, and instead of climbing away, it stalled. It hit the ground near the approach end of the runway. The pilot survived with minor injuries. Investigators did not find a mechanical failure. The real issue was airspeed during the go-around. At that height, once the wing gets too slow, there may be no time left to fix it. August 9th, 2017, Tower City, Pennsylvania. A home-built Pietenpol air camper was taking off from Bendigo Airport on a flight test. The run-up was normal, and the pilot began the takeoff roll. As the tail came up, the pilot fainted. Airport video showed the airplane pitch steeply up, roll left, and come down left wing first. The pilot was seriously injured, but survived. Investigators found no mechanical failure. The NTSB said the pilot likely passed out because of a previously undiagnosed heart condition. The lesson is clear. On a test flight, medical readiness matters just as much as the airplane itself. October 12th, 2024, Rowlesburg, West Virginia. A Maule M8 was landing on the grass strip at Cheat River Island. On touchdown, the tailwheel airplane bounced and started drifting left. When it came back down, the left wing hit two parked airplanes. The airplane kept moving left and then hit trees. Both wings were badly damaged, but all three people on board walked away. The NTSB found no mechanical failure. The problem was loss of direction control during landing. In a tailwheel airplane, a bounce can turn serious fast, and the correction has to happen right away. September 25th, 2023, San Pedro, California. A Sling 4 TSI was returning from a short instructional flight near the coast. On final approach, the pilot told air traffic control the engine had failed. A witness video showed the airplane trailing white smoke. Moments later, the smoke stopped. The airplane turned right, the nose dropped, and it went down into a field about 3 miles from Torrance. Both people on board were seriously injured. Investigators found that the engine lost power after the number 4 cylinder exhaust valve overheated and failed from wear. The lesson is clear. Engine wear and required inspections are not paperwork. They are what keep the engine alive in flight. What stands out in these accidents is not one single cause. It is how often a small moment becomes the deciding moment. Airspeed, directional control, fuel, maintenance, or a decision made just a few seconds too late. That is why these cases matter. They are not just crash videos. They are reminders of how little room aviation gives you when something starts going wrong. Let me know in the comments which case stood out to you the most and what you think the biggest lesson was. And if you want more aviation accident breakdowns based on real investigation reports, subscribe to the channel.